We're gonna try this again. Hey y'all, hey, come on in. Yep, I
Oh
said
my
add.
goodness, finally.
That is so ridiculous.
Yes. Oh my God.
And it's like that every week.
Is it
No one gets in. No one gets in easy. They gotta go through.
all of these changes? Oh my goodness.
And it's not even that difficult. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just like, come on, y'all, just let me in. Just
Exactly.
let me in.
So it just
So I'm about to share it on
finally worked
Facebook.
for no reason. So I don't know what's going on.
Exactly. That's why I said, look, who,
That's my baby.
hey, darling.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, how y'all doing? So I'm about to share it to my Facebook main page.
Okay.
But I don't understand. It does this every single week.
Wow.
Every week.
So it won't come
The person is just like, it's not there.
on the computer,
Let
but
me.
it will on the phone.
I don't know. I'm gonna see if it. I
pulled it up on mine in the kitchen, and it's just spinning around.
Well, now cause she went out. You have to go out and go back in because
Oh.
she left.
Well, I'm gonna get on out the picture.
I'm going to. I'm gonna see if it'll work on my laptop too.
Okay.
Because other than that, I'll have to hold the phone. So we'll see.
Yeah. That's why I said, I know most folks
On out the picture.
are not able to access it on their laptop.
Oh, they're not.
So, because I'm on my phone too,
Oh,
and then I'm working through my laptop to like share the video.
okay. Well, I'll forget about that then.
Okay.
All right. I'll just hold the phone.
I know, right?
Right.
Okay, let me post it and share it. And then folks from my page will come on. Yes, come on in, y'all. This is Get Naked TV. We about to get naked. That was like 10 minutes just gone.
Oh,
Like, really?
right. Just trying to
Oh my God.
just wait. We were doing
I'm
everything
just,
right. Just waiting on it to work. Hey, Stephanie.
okay, so I just, oh, so you see people?
I
So you
Stephanie.
see people on your end?
Yeah.
Okay, so for y'all coming in, this is Get Naked TV. We have Glenda Anne on.
Hey.
So I am Phette Hollins. I am Phette Hollins. I am the creator of the Get Naked movement and Get Naked TV, where we share stories of healing and getting unstuck by removing the layers of baggage one story at a time. These are real women sharing their real stories. So welcome, Miss Glenda Anne.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, I see Stephanie. Hey, Kiwana. So when y'all come in, please say hi to us so that we know that you're here, because sometimes we can see people come in and sometimes not. I will see like the hearts or thumbs up going across the screen. I'm like, oh, I didn't even see that person come in. So just say hey to us as you come in and like and share the video.
Uh-oh, I'm messing with lights.
I was like, what you doing? So we're gonna talk about. Oh, hey, Auntie, thank you for coming back in. That was crazy. I'm telling you, I'm working on my studio so that folks will have to come to me, physically drive to me. I'm trying to refrain from doing that because I like being in the comfort like of my home and folks being in their homes. But if Facebook is going to be doing all of this, I don't have time.
Right.
I have no time. But we're going to talk about alopecia today,
Mm-hmm.
which is a topic that is not talked about at
At
all.
all.
I don't ever hear people talking about it.
Nope.
So I'm glad because this is a great platform for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Audrey.
Hey, Audrey.
So, Glenda, I'm going to have you just tell everybody who you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, and you can just jump right on in. We are listening.
Well, I am Glenda Franklin, otherwise known as Glenda Anne on Facebook. And I just wanted to get on here and share about alopecia because, as you said, people don't talk about it. And, it's something that, for the most part, is a hidden, I guess I would call it an affliction, I guess, for some of us. And you know what we do, because we have to continue to carry on with our lives, we hide it in various ways. And you know, I know a number of people in my personal circle who are dealing with this. And you know, when I started looking around, like online, to see, you know, is there some kind of support group or something like that in the area? And I really didn't find much of anything, um, that people are getting together and talking about it, and exchanging resources, or just really talking about how they cope with this thing, you know. Or it might be information about different physicians and stuff like that. And I know there have been some, you know, there have been one person I know in particular that has, you know, has gone live here on Facebook to talk about it. You know, I won't say her name right now just in case she doesn't want that said. But you know, other than
Right.
that, I haven't seen a lot. I haven't seen people talk about it. So, you know, when I saw that you had this series called Get Naked, you know, that's exactly what this is about. My understanding of Get Naked is talking about things that we don't normally talk about, you know, things that we normally hide, you know, things that we normally don't tell people about. So that is, to me, a perfect topic for this series, because it is something that we don't normally talk about. It's embarrassing, you know, it's heartbreaking. We as women in the society that we live in, we've been conditioned to value hair as a part of our being, really, a part of our identity. And I would go
I'm
further to
glad that you
say
said
that
that.
that's even more so true in the African American community, you know, where we value hair. And, you know, for me personally, for a person who um, you know, grew long hair, you know, at one time in my life, and it became a part of me. It became a part of my identity to have these long flowing locks, you know, that people would comment on and all of that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, it's something. It's definitely something to deal with, and I'm glad that you invited me on here to talk about it.
I'm glad that you decided that you wanted to come on, because when you told me about it, I'm just like, yes, because you're right. This is a platform for Get Naked, and that's in essence what it is. It's just removing the layers, becoming vulnerable, getting naked, because we're most naked when we feel most exposed when we're naked.
Hmm.
So that's why I came up with the title. But let's back it up a little bit, just for those who may not know what alopecia is. So we're just not going to assume that everybody knows,
Hmm.
and also take us back to when you discovered it.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, alopecia, basically, in a nutshell, is hair loss, unwanted hair loss. And, you know, all kinds of people from all walks of life can be affected by it. It can affect men, it can affect women. Um, and there are different kinds of alopecia, and basically, the different kinds have to do with what's causing it. You know, sometimes it's hereditary, sometimes it can have to do with abuse that has happened to the hair and scalp. So maybe, you know, just too many chemicals, hair color,
Mm.
burns, you know, even with braids and locks, you know, if braids have been too tight or locks have been over twisted, or it just could be, it can be for other things. Obviously, people who might be going through cancer treatment, chemotherapy, a lot of time causes hair loss in people. That's a form of alopecia as well. Um, and then there's different places that people lose hair. There's the kind of alopecia where you just lose it in certain parts of your scalp. There's other kinds where you lose it all over your entire body. So some people they don't have eyebrows or eyelashes even. No pubic hair, no armpit hair, no leg, no hair whatsoever is on their body. So there's just all different kinds of alopecia. And, um, you know, for me, my particular kind of alopecia is a combination of things. It is Mine is called scarring alopecia, and what that means is that it's really an inflammatory response. So there's inflammation that has happened in my scalp that has caused hair follicles to be damaged, basically, and then the hair that's in those follicles gets affected, and it scars over. So the hair follicle forms a scar, basically, and that's why they call it scarring alopecia. I also have some hair loss from braids that were too tight. So it's a combination for me. So I have some scarring alopecia as well as some stress alopecia. And the part of my hair that was affected by stress alopecia is starting to grow back. But scarring alopecia tends to be permanent. Although I have heard, I've been doing a lot of looking around on the internet and, YouTube videos and things like that. And I have heard of some people who did have some success with growing back their hair with scarring alopecia. With different treatments, a lot of time, basically your first step is to see a not gynecologist, I'm sorry, dermatologist. And
No
no
gynecologist.
gynecologist, they can't help you. They can't. A dermatologist, and there are certain things that they can do. There might be scalp injections, there might be topical solutions, anti-inflammatories, there might be vitamins and supplements that they want you to take. It just depends on what's going on. But for me, I haven't had much success with the dermatologist. But I should also say too that I haven't really pursued in a very systematic or dogmatic way. I had a consultation, they told me what they told me. And some of the things that were presented as possible treatment options, I'm not really willing to do. Like, for instance, I'm not interested in having scalp injections. And that's kind of one of the hallmark treatments of this. And one of the main reasons why I don't like it, besides I don't like needles, is it's not something that's, it may work, it may not. And you can be going through a lot of these injections over a course of a year, maybe, just in the hopes that it may work. And for me personally, it's not that important to me. Not yet, anyway. I can't speak for what it may be in the future, but for me right now, it's not that important to me because I'm able to camouflage and do what I need to do, and honestly, it really has not become something that's the priority in my life. And most days I don't even think about it. So, again, I can't speak for tomorrow and how I may feel, but right now, that's just not an option I want to take. On top of the fact, I'm really sensitive about putting things in my body. And when you are injecting these injections, which basically they're steroidal injections. When you're injecting steroids and ingesting steroids, whether it's through injection or whether it's through pills, they have side effects. They can really affect you. And I'm just not interested in having that be in my system right now. Not right now. It's not to the degree that it worries me or bothers me that much that I'm looking at that as a viable option for me. So in essence, I really would rather attack this through natural means. So first and foremost, my diet, what kind of rest am I getting? What is my body going through? Making sure I'm kind to my body, getting rest, getting proper diet, getting exercise, drinking plenty of water and things like that. And then maybe trying some biotin or some other things like that, something more natural. Try to keep I understand that certain diets can be really inflammatory. They can really aggravate inflammatory processes. And so the more natural we eat, the less we are prone to inflammatory processes. So I'm more about, let me try and get on that route more so than the steroids.
That's understandable. That makes sense. And I like having these discussions because I learned something in every series. So I did not know that there were several types of alopecia. I had no idea. I just thought it was the same across the board. And the only person that I know of, I only know one person in my whole life that has it, and she's a former coworker, and and she has it all over. So she doesn't have eyebrows, eyelashes. So that's what I thought. Whenever I hear about alopecia, I just think that everyone loses their hair everywhere. And of course, she she like wears wigs and does all of that. And she noticed it like shortly after she got married. So this is about, let's say about 18 years ago or something. So she said one day she had all this long flowing hair. Then the next thing she knows, it, started spotting in certain areas. And the next thing you know, she was bald.
Mhm.
So just recently she posted a picture online without any her wig or anything. She
Mhm.
just was completely naked, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
She said it was just freeing,
Yeah.
and I think that speaks volumes because, like you said, especially in the Black community, it's like our crown, our hair is our crown.
Mhm.
We hear this just all of our lives. You know what
Mhm.
I mean?
Mhm.
It's just hair this, hair that, long, long, long hair. Does it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they do make it like a really big deal, and I found that since people make it a big deal, I will toy with mine and just cut it off when I feel like, or, because I just feel like it is just hair,
Yeah.
but I don't want to be insensitive to those who, aren't able to grow it, that kind of thing. But I just feel like I don't like people making such a big deal about hair because, like you, I've had locks. This is my fifth set of locks,
Mhm.
and I've had hair down my back,
Mhm.
and different people are just like, why do you keep messing with your hair? Leave it alone. It's just like
Well,
it's just hair. Why you?
yeah, I feel like this. I don't think anyone can tell you to leave your hair alone. Do what you want to do with your hair. And no, I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't consider you being insensitive because you're doing what you want to do with your hair. It's your hair, and I just think that would be selfish and weird to me for just because I have hair loss that I feel like you can't enjoy your hair and do what you want to do with it. That's
Right.
weird.
No, I understand.
No, please
Yeah,
do what you feel
someone told
with
me
your
that.
hair. And
It's like,
those of us who can't do the same, we have a choice. We all have choices in life, and I choose to applaud you and be happy and look at your hair and go, wow, that's beautiful, and wow, you got great hair, and I love what you did with it, rather than sit here and be bitter and and envious because you have all of your hair, all
again,
these things with it. That to me, I just really try to come from a spiritually holistic standpoint. And I seriously, if I really want my hair to come back, I certainly can't have it come back if I'm hating on yours.
right. That's some bad energy. It's
Right,
like you gotta
exactly,
loosen up that bad
exactly.
energy. Yeah,
How does
I get it.
that it doesn't work that way. I have to come from a place of love. And if I'm hating on your hair, I mean, and that's not to say that I may not look at your hair and be a little sad sometimes that, oh, I wish I could do that, but certainly not where I would be like, well, you shouldn't, how dare you, why do you keep messing with your hair? No, absolutely not. Enjoy your hair. Yeah.
I agree. I was just saying when people put so much weight on hair,
Yeah.
when they come to me, I'm just like, what does that
Yeah.
matter to you?
Yeah.
Like, what business is it of yours
Well,
that I'm doing this? But
I'll say this, and this I've said this about air and money. But at this, I have come to know that this is also true about hair. And that means the only time you really think about it is when you don't have enough of it, you know?
oh, mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I will say that,
yeah.
while I agree with you, it is just hair and people do make a big deal of it. I will say that you would make a bigger deal of it if you started to lose,
I didn't have.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
I believe
I,
that.
I get you, but and I agree with you. But when you start to lose it, it does become a big deal, at least initially, until you
Right.
can reconcile it. And that's what I had to do. I had to reconcile it. But in the beginning, it was a big deal. And I tell you, I had to put off mourning my hair, because when it really came out, it had been thinning for a couple years. And
Okay.
that's the reason why I cut my locks, because they got thin and it just didn't look good to me. And I thought, well, maybe they're too heavy because they were so long. They had reached like waist level, basically. And so I thought, well, maybe they're too heavy. Maybe they're putting too much stress on my scalp. And so I had to cut them because they just didn't look good. They didn't look like they used to look back in the day, where I would get all these comments, oh, your hair, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just feeling myself with all of
Hmm.
this. all of this, you know, these beautiful locks. So I cut it, but it stayed thin. I mean, 2 years went by, 3 years went by, and it just started thinning more and more. And then I said, forget it. You know, I'm tired of messing with this hair because I'm a big proponent of natural hair. I wasn't into weaves. I wasn't into any of that stuff anymore. Had worn locks for 15 years. And before that, I wore a TWA for 3 years. So when I started my locks, at least here in Detroit, I know New York and LA and other places were different, but in Detroit, you almost never saw anybody with locks. I started my locks in 1999. You know, so that was different
Wow.
back then. I was unique walking around with these locks. Okay.
Right.
So, you know, that was it became part of my identity. It was a part of me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, it started thinning, thinning, thinning. And I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and get some braids because I'm tired of messing with this thinning hair, just every morning trying to get it to look like something because my scalp is starting to show. It's just thin. You can look, even though there's hair there, you can look through it and see my scalp. So I said, well, I'm going to get some braids. Got some braids, and that went well for a couple months. Took them down, got them done again. And this time they were braided way too tight. Way too tight. But I endured it. I had a headache, real bad headache for about a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy, you know. But and they finally loosened up, and, you know, I went on about my life. But when I took that set down, a bunch of my hair came out with it. And I mean, like,
Wow.
gone. Gone. Can't do anything to camouflage this. Gone. And I had to be not at, in a wedding the next day.
Wow.
Okay? In a wedding.
So what did you do? Because that was going to be my question. I was going to say, when did you notice, well, when did you know that it was more than just, okay, my hair is, thin and the braids is too tight, this, and then know that it was alopecia? Or did you not know until you went to the doctor? Like,
After,
because I feel like the stages you'll say like, oh, my hair is thinning, because some hair comes out every now and then.
no,
Then to know.
when I noticed that it just kept thinning, kept thinning, kept thinning, I went to the dermatologist. She did a biopsy of my scalp. And then, you know, I should put her on blast, but I'm not. But anyway, this doctor, she did a biopsy of my scalp, and, you know, everything was sent to the lab, and then she never gave me my results. And I'm telling you, like a month later, I called the office. I'm like, hey, I'm not hearing anything on my biopsy results. And her front person at the office was very rude and basically was saying, well, obviously we don't have the results back yet, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, just really, okay. So,
Exactly. Right, Stephanie. What's her name? I'm with Stephanie. You don't want to put her on blast. No.
well,
What if somebody else
her
goes to
name was
her?
Dr.
Blast
Lorna
her.
Thomas. Dr. Lorna Thomas. And she came highly recommended by some people. You know, she, as well as Dr. Heidelberg, are very recommended. They are African American female physicians. I've heard good things about Dr. Heidelberg, and I heard good things about Dr. Thomas. But when I tell you this woman didn't call me back, I'll tell you when I finally got a call from her office, 6 months later. 6 months
No.
later, her office called me to say, oh, we have your results. Oh, and when I called before, like after a month had gone by, and this woman was rude, telling me we don't have a man. Oh, by the way, you have a balance on your account. Seriously?
Get out
You
of
don't
here.
need any money.
No.
You haven't done this service for me yet. So anyway, I never went back. I got busy
Wow.
with a whole
Okay.
bunch of other stuff and just never went back. And I started doing some of my own research. And meanwhile, the results came back in the form of a bill from the lab. My copay for the bill for the lab was due, and they put a diagnosis code on there on the bill. So I looked up the diagnosis code, and it was scarring alopecia. And so that's how I found out that's what it
That's
was.
what you found
That's
out.
how I found out. Yeah. So I started doing some research on scarring alopecia, and right, isn't that crazy? You know, and this is the
No.
main reason I haven't gone to another doctor, even though I'm not saying I won't. I'll get around to it. but it's like everything that I'm reading, and I have access to a lot of medical material as a registered nurse. Plus, I do research as a medical anthropologist, so I can get to a lot of scholarly stuff. And just everything that I'm reading about it is, you know, for the most part, it's really hit and miss. For the most part, it doesn't grow back. And
Mm-hmm.
if you can go through all these treatments that may or may not work, and then when you complete the treatment, if you do get it back, it can still fall out again. And so I'm just at a place where, like I said, I have placed this hair loss thing in a certain spot in my life, and it's not in the front seat. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Even though it's important to me, don't get me wrong. Will I like all my hair to grow back full the way it was? Of course I would. You know, but I guess I'm just not interested in fighting with it right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're finding ways to handle it and deal with it without letting it really just like overtake or run
Yeah.
your life,
Yeah. And
which
it's
is
funny
cool.
because, you know, I've really surprised myself with how comfortable I have become with it, because I can tell you often in, right now, these are, crochet locks that I have in my head, and crochet braids, and then it's locks that have been put in the form of crochet braids. And I'm telling you, often I'm out in the street, out and about, and girl, your locks, you know, how long did it take you to grow those? And I'll say a couple hours. You know, and I'm surprised that I'm
I like that.
comfortable with that, you know, and you know, they'll say, huh? And I say, and somebody asked me one time, girl, how did you get your locks curled like that? I've been trying to get mine to curl like that for a minute. I said, oh, they came out the package that way. It's no big
Came
deal.
already like this.
It was
No
like
dipping,
this.
no burning.
I woke up like this, okay? You know?
Right. Like literally
Literally.
woke up like this.
So
Oh no, I love that.
yeah,
I love that. I
I
love
have
that.
embraced it. And I'm okay with it. And as a matter of fact, you know, it allows me to play with different hair and different styles in ways that I never thought about doing before. And I realize that women do this all the time. Even women who have full heads of hair under their wigs and everything,
That's true.
they play with different styles. They do weaves and wigs
That's true.
and braids and all kinds of things. So, you know, this has, in a way, and again, like I said, from a spiritually holistic point of view, I'm paying attention to things that come into my life and what are the reasons that they come into my life. And one of the things that has happened with this is that it is pushing me into exploring my creative side, you know, and that's something that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't true for me before. You know, I've been, you know, I'm a nerdy girl. I read books all the time. I'm always in school in one form or another, you know, or writing or something like that. And I never considered myself a creative being in that way. And so I've noticed that things have become more colorful in my life, truly and
Yes, I
figuratively.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a good thing. It's cool.
I love, see, that's the beauty of this song. See, I love it when we could take something that appears to be like a bad thing or sad or something like that, then it transitions into something way more bigger than we expected. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I always see the beauty in all
Mm-hmm.
things. Bad, I see the beauty in even bad things. So I think that's awesome that you've come away with
Yeah.
this. This is what you're taking away with it, because you can like, hey, I get this. I can get this in the pack. I can do that.
Right.
Because I've seen you with your locks,
Uh-huh.
and then I've seen you with your TWA, and
Yeah.
I just look at it like her hair is beautiful either way, but I didn't know what you were going through.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us. Oh, hold on, we got people on. Hey, everybody that just came in, please like and share the video. Hey, Laverne. Hey, Siobhan. Whoever else I didn't speak to, I can see their comments, so that's how I know you all are on.
I love
But thank y'all.
you,
Please
baby.
like and share the
I see
video.
my baby comment, and I love you too, my love.
Yes, that's why I laughed. That's why I was laughing when she said that's why the bill is in the trash. I wasn't expecting to see that. Darlene is hilarious.
Yeah.
TWA is teeny weeny afro.
Yes. Yes. Teeny weeny afro. Yeah. I wore that.
Kimberly.
You know, after I cut my locks, I wore that, and I wore that before I grew my locks. So I was, you know, I've been natural again since what, 96. basically 96 is when I stopped perming and all that kind of stuff. And I had it all. I had perms, jerry curls, weaves, all that stuff up until 1996. And then I just said, no, it was more than, hair. It wasn't about hairstyle per se. It was about embracing me the way that I was. That's what going natural was. And again, that time frame back in 96, that was a big deal. People weren't doing that. Not here, not in Detroit, I got a lot of different looks sometimes, like, what is she doing with her hair? What is that? Kind of thing. But now you see baby locks all the time and people don't blink an eye. But back then you just had, and my hair was like this when I started my locks, and that just wasn't done back then, So, but it was cool.
Right.
It was definitely, that was the other thing about when my locks grew, and I grew them for 15 years and they were down to my waist and all of that. It was growth, literally and figuratively. The growth of my hair was something that was a byproduct of the growth inside me, which is a growth of acceptance, which is a growth of standing in my own being of who I am in the face of negativity. So that skill, that was something that it was difficult. I didn't just have that right off the bat, but I had to grow that. I had to learn, stand in who you are, no matter what the naysayers are saying, no matter what kind of vibe you're getting from people. What is it that works for you? And that was something that worked for me. So I had to stand in it. I had to learn how to take care of that. There were no lock shops back then. Okay. Now you got lock shops all over the city. That wasn't there. YouTube videos, forget about it. There was no YouTube back then.
Right.
I had to just figure it out, get in the mirror every day and, okay, how am I going to keep these little twists together and, until they lock and do their thing. Oh yeah. It was growth in a lot of ways. And so that came in handy for me in different areas of my life over the subsequent years. And so I think in a way that's what helped me deal with this hair loss, because this is, okay, now here you are faced with a disfigurement in a way, okay? And when I first started my locks, wearing your hair like that was like a disfigurement back then. You walk around with your little nappy little beady balls on your head,
Right.
That was in a way disfigurement back then. And so now you have disfigurement again, and it has to do with your hair. And so how are you going to stand in who you are despite that? You can't just hide in. You got to go out and still be. You still have to live. You still have to function.
Yeah.
But who are you in the face of this disfigurement once again?
Ooh. You better speak.
So,
oh my goodness.
So where is your growth now? Where is your growth? If your hair is not physically growing, what's growing on the inside of you that's going to manifest on the outside in different ways? And so that's where
I need somebody to write these down, like type them in the comments or something, and type. These some quotes, these some tweetables. Like we need to be sharing this.
Yes.
No, I like for real. I like that, but you're right, because I went natural in 2001 when I moved back here from Georgia, and I went natural because of that show Soul Food. Do you remember the show Soul Food?
Absolutely.
That's on Showtime, and her name is Vanessa Williams. She had locks, and I thought they were the most beautiful thing ever.
Very nice. Yeah.
I had just gotten a perm and everything. My hair was, like I said, I've always had long hair, so I wore my signature style was just straight, just the bone straight, and then the wrap. So I would wrap my hair up, and it just would flow. I literally saw her hair. I don't even remember what I did back then, because I don't know why I was that brave to do so. But I just gotten a perm, but I cut all of my hair off, like just big chopped it. So it had to be something back then, like Phette and Naturality.com. I was on all these little websites. I did the big chop, and I did the comb coils. So I had the little BDB thingies over my head, and everybody thought I was crazy.
Right.
My grandpa,
Yeah.
my mom, my grandma, they're just like, you had all of that hair.
Yeah.
And I sat there and figured out how to do the comb coils with the black gel,
Yeah.
and I was around here so bald headed. They were just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm getting these locks like Vanessa Williams," and I haven't looked back. So I've had, like I said, 5 sets of locks since then. But yes, it takes a lot to stand in that because people are looking like, "Oh, you want to be a boy? You want to," just saying a whole
Yeah.
bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I just don't want to be addicted to creamy crack
Yeah. Yeah.
anymore, and I just want to go natural. But it speaks a lot about who you are as a person, being able to withstand that and take that because people view you in a certain way based on your hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that whole, yes, that was profound. I like that.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad that touched you. I hope it touches some other people as well because obviously I go online or wherever and or maybe it's in person and someone says something that touches me to help me out, so this is all reciprocity. you know I've been touched by someone, and so I need to speak something that maybe will touch someone else, something that will resonate with someone else. And I have to say, obviously, here's the other thing too, and this can be really difficult for women, because I know men, they experience hair loss, and it can be distressing for men too. I think a lot of
Mhm.
people think men don't stress over that, but there's some men that are really, really bothered by losing their hair. But there's something about women, because it's this whole thing about femininity is caught up in hair too with
Hair.
women.
Yes.
Um, and it can be difficult. You can be wondering how your mate is going to react to you, losing your hair, especially, for me, like I said, my hair became a part of me. It became a part of my identity. It was part of my femininity to have all of that
Mhm.
hair. And, so I I guess I never really, because of my relationship with my spouse, I never had to wonder how my relationship with her was going to be affected because of the love that I know she has for me. And she, of course, has been extremely supportive, extremely
Mhm.
supportive, of who I am, with my weaves and wraps or without them, you know, and that is important to have in your life. And I mean, I'm going to go out on the limb. I'm not
Absolutely.
trying to tell people how to live their lives, but I'm going to tell you this. When you're dealing with something like this, whether it's hair loss or anything else that's devastating, and something that is any kind of affliction in your body, you need positive space. You need a
Mhm.
nurturing space. You need a space. Hey, Desiree, you need a space that is going to feed you and support you. Otherwise, you can't heal. You cannot heal. And if you don't have that in your home, if you don't have that in your personal space, in your personal life, you got to get it. You got to make it happen. You got to take inventory of what's in your
Mhm.
space. And if the what and the who in your space is not nurturing and giving and fulfilling to you, you won't heal. You won't have a chance
Yes.
of healing. So you got to get your environment right. Your internal as well as your external environment has to be right in order for
That is so
in
true.
order for you to get on the right track to healing. Because healing is a process. You can't heal overnight. But your environment has to feed that healing. So when you look up, however much time goes by later, 6 months, a year, 6 years,
Mhm.
when you have a nurturing environment, something that can feed you, something that's peaceful to you, that's the reason why you can get to 6 years later and be on the other
Absolutely.
side, and be in the place that you need to be. So I have to
That
give
is
a shout out to
amazing.
my
That's true.
for being
Yes.
for being that personal peace in my home. I come home to peace and nurturing and respect and fulfillment. And that is a big part of why I'm able to be how I am when I leave the house.
I need you to come back on for another segment and we're gonna talk about that.
All right.
because that is so, no, that's so true.
Yeah, glad to do it.
When you said that the healing when you healing, that is it's a process, and it's sometimes you have to cut people loose because you have to go through that growth. So believe me, it's a whole lot of pruning that goes on when you're trying
Yes,
to heal and grow, because you can't get to the next level by still doing the same things or still hanging with the same people that were causing you to be where you were from the
right.
get-go. So I like that, because it's like, yes, where you are now. That was going to be one of my questions too, to say, how did Darlene, how did she respond or react to it? Even though, even I didn't know the story, I just knew, I knew within me like how she would have reacted.
You know,
You know
you
what I
know
mean, from the
what she
outside
did?
looking
You
in.
know what she did? She first of all gave me space. She gave me space. Instead of trying to jump in and react, she gave me space and watched me to see what I needed.
Mm, mm. That's grown. That's grown folks right there.
Yes, because she
Grown.
did not come from a place of assuming that she knew what I needed, even though she's known me for almost 10 years now. You know, she has not experienced this particular thing with me before because I haven't experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what she did was hold space for me to process the way I needed to process, and then be there to catch me when I needed to break down and cry, which happened
Mm-hmm.
immediately. Like I said, I had to be at a wedding the next day, in a wedding the next day. So I put my feelings on the back burner because I wanted to be everything I needed to be for my sister friend in her wedding. I didn't need it to be my pity party that day. I needed to show
Mm-hmm.
up intact. Let me do something with my head right quick, and so I can still look beautiful for my sister friend's wedding.
I know, Stephanie. I'm trying to hold it together because I'm really a punk in real life. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm sitting here just like,
So it wasn't
breathe. I'm telling
like
myself to
that.
breathe.
I had to be there and look right. I had a responsibility to look all that I can look because I'm standing up in this girl's wedding. So crazy.
It is.
I had to pause that for a minute. Was that easy? No. But I had to pause it, because I needed to give right then. I needed to give. And so my gift was to be everything I needed to be for her wedding and then deal with the hair
Mhm.
thing later because I couldn't do anything about it right then. I certainly wasn't going to stay home and not show up and be in her wedding. That just
Right.
unthinkable to me. It meant more to me to fulfill the promise that of what I said I would do, which is be there, you know. So even if I had to run to the wig store right quick and get a wig, that's not what I did. But if that's what it came to, that's what I was prepared to do.
That's what you're gonna
You
do.
know, um,
Mm-hmm.
and then later, and then I just got busy with a bunch of other stuff. I ended up being bothered with chronic pain and ended up having to have surgery and all that kind of thing. And then once, my recovery from the surgery was very, very smooth and good. And so I'm sitting there maybe a week or so after my surgery and I'm healing up nicely. I'm no longer in pain. And then I dealt with it. Then,
Mm.
then I allowed myself the mental and emotional space to deal with it. And I had myself a real good, ugly cry. Ugly cry. Because my hair was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. And I had to figure out, who am I? Who am I
Mm. Mm.
without this hair? Who am I?
Whoever that is with the doing the sad emoji floating thingies, y'all gonna make y'all trying to do it. Y'all trying to break me down. I'm not gonna do it.
So I
Just
I
she's back on here.
figured out.
I know. I think it's beautiful.
And Darlene wasn't home at the time, but she came home, at the time that I was still having my good ugly cry. And she was there. She dropped everything. She sat and she listened to what I had to say about what I was afraid of and what my concerns were and how I felt and everything and just everything. She just listened.
Yeah, we're gonna bring you. I'm gonna bring you back on. I'm gonna think about that and see how I'm gonna bring you back on and what topic. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to you for that because that's so beautiful. Well, I mean, I already know about the love story. I already think y'all are just amazing. But yes, people need to hear that, and that's what people should do. And I think that's good. You know what I mean? Like she's there. The fact that she was there for you, and like you said, she sat there and listened, didn't assume,
Mm-hmm.
because we just never know how we're going to be in that, in those type of situations.
Yeah.
But to hear that is that speaks nothing but love.
Love.
So I want to thank you for coming on Get Naked TV.
Thank you.
And before we wrap this up, if anybody has any questions, please leave it in the comments. And if there's anything that you want people to know who are going through this now, if someone that's just, this is new for them,
Yes.
what would you suggest or recommend, or what did you want to tell them?
I would say number one, obviously consult a physician to figure out, what the cause of hair loss is, because we can't do anything about anything if we don't know what's causing it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just because you think that your hair loss looks like mine, that doesn't mean that we got the same cause going on. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
opinion from a good physician. A dermatologist is the specialist that would have to address that. Secondly, make sure you're in a healthy space, and that is mind, body, and soul. You got to stay in
Mm-hmm.
a space. You got to eat better. You got to get rest. You got to your life. Your home environment has to be peaceful for you. Your every environment has to be peaceful for you. Your work environment,
Yes.
everything else. And so you may think you may not have control over things like your work environment and things like that, but you do, because you can exude a certain energy where there becomes peace in your space.
Mm.
Okay. There might be all kinds of drama on the job, but you make peace in your space. And
Say that
so
again.
the other thing, talk to
Mm-hmm.
somebody. Talk to somebody. You don't have to deal with this by yourself. You know, um, we can't deal with this by ourselves. We all need someone to reach out to, and whether that's your partner or your parents or your children, your adult children, let's just say. I wouldn't put this on little kids because they're gonna be worried about mama. But
For sure.
yeah, so but you got to reach out to somebody, or good friends, and my good friends have definitely been supportive of me for sure. Um, and then find out all the information that you can. Once you know what's causing it, um, do some of your own research. There's a lot of information out there on the internet, good and bad. Obviously, there's bad information out there too. You have to be mindful, of
Right.
course, that you're getting the information. Um, but try to be as healthy as you can. And you can't. One thing that I do know, if hair is going to grow, it has to grow from the outside. That is that. You can't stay on jump day in and day out and all kinds of alcohol, whatever else you're doing, and expect your hair to grow. Your hair, anything that happens in your body, any kind of healing that's going to happen in your body, is healing. So you have to give your body the tools to heal. So
Yes.
regrowing hair is a form of healing. So if you're going to heal, you got to give your body the right tools to do that. And because your mind feeds your body is feeding from your mind. You got to have a mind, and that's why the peace of mind is so important. So, and keep your head up. I'm never going to tell anybody that this is important. Okay, I would never tell anybody, oh girl, your hair it'll grow back, or it's not a big deal. All have of how this affects, how it is. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's devastating across the board, no matter who we are, no matter how,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what we're dealing with. What's different is how we deal with it and how we get to certain points of processing and healing from it. You that's different for everyone. So you have to know what's good for you. But definitely out to folks, stay healthy in your mind, body, and spirit, and do your work. Do your work.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Glenda. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for getting naked. Thank you for being comfortable enough to share that story with all of us, because I'm sure someone watching this has learned something. I know I definitely have, and I'm sure somebody else out there will too. So that's why it's important for everyone to share the video, like and share the video, because you never know what someone is going through. Again, thank you so much, Glenda. And I will talk. If you all have any comments, y'all can still post them in there, even when the video is over, and we can answer them. But please share the video. And Glenda, if you want to add anything to the comments, like resources or anything, you can do that after the broadcast if you want to.
Okay, will do.
Thank you for coming on, and bye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.